This video is kind of just going to be a long rant where I talk about why I feel like there should be more next-gen games. I felt kind of ripped off when I bought my PS5 because I realised that there was almost no next-gen exclusive games. I almost returned it because I felt like there was no point in having one. I believe that now, you probably should get one if you only have a PS4 or Xbox One, as most games launching now will be next-gen exclusive, but like 20 or so years ago with the PS1 and the transition to 2, it would have just been PS2 games coming out when PS2 launched. You wouldn't still have had PS1 games coming out 3 years after the next-gen console came out. But now every single Fortnite and Roblox kid thinks a game like Teardown, a very next-gen feeling game, should come to PS4, Xbox One, because Fortnite and Roblox both have last-gen versions of their games. And if they don't have a next-gen, and if it doesn't come to last-gen, they'll join the game's Discord and just, endlessly talk about how awful it is that there's no last-gen version and the game could come to last-gen consoles. And then they'll say that they won't get fucking Herobrine lag because they installed a virus. I literally had a friend tell me that. Actually, what is wrong with you? Here's an example to make this make more sense. Apex Legends, which launched on last-gen consoles, but got a next-gen update when next-gen consoles launched. Since there is not so much graphical difference, this might make a Roblox kid think that a PS5 game could run on a PS4. So as a result, you end up having issues when actual next-gen games come out, such as potentially Titanfall 3, GTA 6, Elder Scrolls 6, blah blah blah. This game called The Finals did a beta a week ago that I love to death. Best shooter I have ever played. 10 out of 10. 100 out of 100. Absolutely phenomenal. And the game is a next-gen exclusive, but it doesn't have next-gen graphics. It basically looks like a mobile game sometimes. The graphics are just awful. But it had next-gen gameplay, if you know what I mean. You might think of games with tactical sprint. So you sprint, so there's the two types of sprint. You got default sprint, and then tactical sprint, where you raise your weapon and stuff. But the thing that made the finals feel next-gen was the destruction. It is actually phenomenal. You see that wall. Oh god. You see that wall, blow it up. Just you can obliterate the wall. The entire building can be leveled. Unlike Battlefield 2042, where that is you destroy fucking half a building, or the whole building, and it's just sitting there. I feel like they probably should have taken better advantage of Unreal Engine 5 by using the nanite technology, since the geometry is frankly awful in it. One of the worst parts of the game, it has ray tracing. It doesn't make a huge difference, but the ray tracing I don't think is on PS5. PS5 runs at medium graphics or something at 720p. It still has heaps of frame drops. It's bananas. But the game started out on Unreal Engine 4, so kind of explains the kind of ugly graphics. I feel 120 FPS should be a bigger focus for developers. A good example is the Teardown console port, where you can tell there's a focus on making the game's performance as good as possible. I don't know if the game port was done by Saber Interactive, since they are now the publisher of Teardown, but I'm pretty sure they did it, since they have a track record of impossible game ports. Since they did the Crysis console ports, all of them, PS3, Xbox 360, and Nintendo Switch. Oh yeah, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, all the dumbass fucking other Xbox One consoles and Xbox Series S and X. But I actually prefer playing on my Switch. It's just like completely bananas to play on a handheld console at like a smooth 30 FPS. It drops into the higher 20s during combat, but I feel like it's okay. It's got a really weird acceleration curve on PS5. Crytek, if you see this, fix the acceleration curve. It is like, ugh, it's like disgusting. Like, what is wrong with you? What like made you do this to the beautiful game? I find soundtracks very important in a game, as I love just sitting there in a game and just vibing to the soundtrack. I made a whole video talking about my favourites. My top 3 now, probably the Goat Simulator soundtrack, the Dying Light soundtrack, and the Counter-Strike 2 soundtrack. Like, Counter-Strike 2, that's like a big improvement with the soundtrack. I haven't actually played Counter-Strike 2, as it has no Mac support. It's like really cool. It's done by the Valve Orchestra. The orchestra for Valve existed. It's like weird that Techland used the London Orchestra or something for the Dying Light 2 main menu music. And then I found out Valve did as well for Counter-Strike 2. I feel like some studios just don't put enough effort into their soundtracks. Like, it makes the game memorable if it has a good soundtrack. Think of like the Halo series, like Halo 1, that like traditional Halo soundtrack. You have like the Halo like theme song, and then like Covenant Dance, and all the other ones, except Bungie fired their composer. Some older games, I think, should just have a full codebase rewrite, because it is ridiculous that I should have to download 8 different mods to play Minecraft Java Edition at 60 FPS on a MacBook M1 Pro. Like, that is ridiculous. M1 Pro, I can do fucking 3D modeling and use real-time and can use Blender Cycles, a real-time path tracer. Not real-time. A path tracer in basically real time on it, but I can't play Minecraft at 60 FPS without having to install 8 different mods. Like, actually, what the fuck? Like, ridiculous. Mojang, whatever you call yourself these days. When CSGO, Counter-Strike Global Offensive, I mean, a game with much more geometric detail and much more advanced lighting techniques, can run better than that shit. The reason why Minecraft runs so bad is actually because it's got just like so much leftover code that is still in the game, that the actual game code is just like spaghetti. You've got like tangled stuff linking to each other. You can never quite see what's happening with the code. There's just going to be like so much running that it's like going to be impossible to clean it up without just rewriting the majority of the code. But the good thing about rewriting all the code is that they could just like burn Java Edition and Bedrock Edition alive. The reason the game is different on mobile and consoles is that consoles and mobile devices don't support the Java programming language, which is basically spaghetti at this point. Like, it feels like you're downloading malware just to visit their website. I am like terrified every time I download a mod. It's like ridiculous. Fix your website, Java. And then for Bedrock Edition, they just decided to remake the game in C##. And like, they were just like, fuck version parity, we don't need that. This shouldn't have to be something we have to deal with in 10 years. But then they realised it's not that fun to be a console and mobile player and not have like half of the things Java has. And then they decided to start doing version parity with like 1.18, it's 1.20.1 now, and it's still like barely any version parity. It's enough that I can like play Java Edition, since I like never played it before and now I've started playing it, but I can't really do the combat. Like, how fucking long is a zombie's arm? And like, you can't just jump and beam stuff to death with critical hits. It's ridiculous. It is useless to release a UE4 game in 2023. We have had next-gen consoles for 3 years, and barely anyone wants to bother to learn how to use a new game engine. And they want to use the same 20-year-old game engine and have worse performance and bugs than Minecraft, which is running off Java. Like, dude, Java is... I just talked about it just like 20 seconds ago, about how it's basically malware at this point. It's like fucking ridiculous that Starfield launched with only 30 FPS on console, when a game like Teardown, with full path tracing and voxel-based destruction, can run at a locked 120 FPS. That's literally 4 times the frame rate. This is simply ridiculous to have this shit in the gaming industry. It is ridiculous to have to wait 10 years for a game like Grand Theft Auto 6 or Elder Scrolls 6 or anything with the number 6 in it. I don't think those developers should be rushed, but trying to make perfection like they are is not necessarily a good thing, because the games I mentioned recently are going to feel old by the time they come out. GTA 6 will feel old when it comes out. Titanfall 3 will feel old when it comes out. Counter-Strike 2 felt old when it came out. Half-Life 3 will feel old when it comes out. But I also don't think you should do something like Battlefield 2042, where it sounds like EA just shoved a stick up DICE's arse and told them that they can pull it out when there's a game out. Just a game, not a functioning game. That is a very bad thing to do, as you will most likely not have any of your employees after that. They're just going to vanish. Poof. Or you fire them, and that when your game is a commercial failure. I feel like everyone these days makes awful trailers. When was the last time you saw a good trailer? Like, what the fuck even are half of these rubbish trailers? Like, no one will buy your game if you have a terrible trailer. I feel like only Bungie these days makes good trailers. Like, the Destiny 2 Lightfall trailer. That was superb in every way. And the Marathon trailer, like, dude, the audio design, the editing, the 3D rendering, superb in every way. But then you look at 343 Industries with their trailers for Halo Infinite. They are awful. Like, that is all they are. Some of them are good, most of them are bad. Respawn Entertainment makes pretty good animated trailers, but if you look at their gameplay trailers, they're rubbish. I don't even bother watching them anymore. I just go play their game and feel like crying, because I feel old when I play it, when I have a 6-year-old beam me in the head. Like, why is there so many little kids in Apex? Why? Why are they all in voice chat making fun of me? Not funny. Stop insulting me. You make me sad. The game is terrible these days. Or the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 trailer. It uses the same Eminem song as the original gameplay trailer for the original Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 from, what, 2011? It's even got the same cuts at the same points and everything. It's disgusting. Goodbye and thanks for watching. I had heaps of fun making this video, and please like and subscribe.